Connecting the community through gospel. The new 107.9 FM, W300EB, Macon, and WDDO 980 AM, Perry, Macon.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.
Right.
Well, once again, we're back. This is Ask Elaine. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is your voice, Commissioner Elaine Lucas, welcoming you to this program today. We hope that something that we bring to you today will help you in your daily life, and we hope that you'll take that information and share it with other folks. Our special guest today is none other than the former mayor pro tem and now still commissioner of the Macon Bibb Commission, District 9, Mr. Al Tillman. Welcome, Al.
Hey, thank you. Welcome.
Yeah, we're glad to
Pleasure to
have
be
you
here.
on. We're glad you were available today to come. We're going to talk about a lot of different topics, but we want to thank all of you who've joined us on 980 AM, 107.9 FM, those who are on Facebook Live, those who are on Instagram, whatever medium you're using to get Ask Elaine this week. We want to welcome you. We also encourage you, if you're on Facebook Live, to hit share, just to remind some others that their weekly talk and information program is on the air and they don't want to miss out on anything. So, y'all, please remind them. Thank you once again, all of you who are so faithful. For those who want to call us, you know the number. 478 And we also encourage you to post a message in the chat. We already have Randy Crawford, who's joined with us today. He says hello. How are you, Mr. Crawford? Anyone who joins us, please send us a message. Let us know what's on your mind. If you have questions about services, just want to express your opinion on something, please put it in the chat here or give us a call. We also want to thank Ms. Shaquinta Barnett Thompson for joining us today. She's the young lady that the other day, I think the apostle had such a hard time figuring out how to say your name. That is one hilarious show, that Drive Time. and we enjoy it. We really enjoy it so much. We've all become a family. So we want to welcome all of you to Ask Elaine and thank you once again. As I said, our special guest is Commissioner Al Tillman, and our first topic is going to be about the election.
Politics.
Yes, some people say, "What election?" And the numbers look that way, don't they, Commissioner?
Yeah, they did. First of all,
Uh,
thank you for having me and asking me
yeah,
to
yeah,
be here.
always good to have you. You
Mhm.
always keep up with what's
Yeah.
going on. You're heavily involved in a lot of things in the community, the unity and community activities, as well as your work as a county commissioner.
Yeah, it
But
goes
on
hand in hand.
yesterday, they did the final tally, and there were a little over 12,000 people who took the time to vote in that runoff
Is that
election.
all?
There are 105,000 people registered to vote
Wow.
in Macon Bibb County.
And at least 150 to 60,000 overall in the
Yeah,
county.
citizens,
Right.
yeah. And so
105,000. Right.
12,000 of them
Right.
decided that they were going to make the decision
Yeah.
for everybody else, for
You know what's always interesting to
160,000.
me when people talk about voting and why should I get involved? I always say if, and I just use us as an example. If the commission was about to make a decision and they say, before you back out of your driveway, that they're going to put a stop sign at your driveway,
Yeah,
you probably think that's stupid, right? So if that's stupid, then you need to get involved and make sure you come down and speak up and vote and say, hey, I'm all right. I don't need a stop sign in front of my
right,
driveway.
right.
And so, the simplest thing as far as just going to vote and to show your voice and your support, because regardless of what neighborhood or what culture you're from, you really want people that represent you and understand where you come from, your neighborhood, and so forth. And a lot of times we don't often get that because we trust others and we just say, well, my voice doesn't count.
Hmm.
But then when the bill comes in the mail, whether it's the water bill, the light bill, all those things that we can't control, you're still calling us about it.
Yeah,
And
to
so, yeah, yeah,
complain,
yeah,
and you haven't done the one thing that you could have done to maybe make a difference.
yeah.
Um, so Ricky Crawford has joined us too
Hey, how you doing,
on
Mr. Crawford?
Facebook Live. Welcome. We're always glad to have you. We're talking about the election and the
Yeah. Less
results,
than
and
10%, I think, of the people
well,
came out.
12,000.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it was less, right around 10%. But that
yeah,
is a long way
yeah.
from what's
Yeah, our,
acceptable.
our friend up in Atlanta who's been in the legislature for a long time, D. Dawkins Hagler, was
Right.
running for Secretary of
She
State.
was
She's
in
been
the
around a
runoff.
long time trying to
Yeah,
help all of us.
yeah.
And then you just got a newcomer that just shows up that, you know, you know,
Well, she did not win in
uh,
the runoff election for Secretary of State. B. Win
yeah,
is who is Asian. She won the
yeah.
runoff,
And
and
B's a good
B
Democrat.
is good.
Yeah,
She
yeah,
is good. So we'll be well represented on the Democratic side in the November election. We just favored D. Dawkins Hagler because of all of her extensive work. Um, for a labor commissioner, attorney, and former state representative William Bodie
yeah,
was the winner in the runoff election, and he will face the present labor commissioner in November. And then for lieutenant governor, you had Charlie Bailey
Charlie Bailey.
and Kwanzaa Hall,
Yeah,
who who were in the runoff. Um, and so Charlie Bailey was successful
yeah,
in winning the runoff. And of course, locally, we had the election for the chair of the water board.
yeah.
Gary Bechtel, the Republican, and
Desmond Brown.
Desmond
Yeah,
Brown
yeah.
were in the
Mhm.
runoff
And that was the
election.
only local race, and I think what happened, and I think because of Desmond being involved, that a lot of people began to know and understand more about stormwater and water.
Right. I think so
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
I think so too. So, out of that came more
yeah.
informed
Our former
people.
colleague Gary Beck, though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
All right. He's a Republican, y'all. So let's see. We have a phone call. Caller, welcome to Ask.
Commissioner Lucas, how you doing?
Doing great. How are you?
This is Minister Taylor. How you doing, Commissioner Lucas?
How you,
Uh,
sir?
we're doing great.
This is Mr. George Taylor. I got a concern, Commissioner Lucas. When do y'all have, when you can go down there and address your concerns about if you're not complete with something, in your neighborhood or in your home, at your home? When y'all
Every,
have a meeting?
yes, sir. Every first and third Tuesday. It's been like that for many, many years. Every first or third Tuesdays at 6 o'clock. You can call in advance, or you can show up 10, 15 minutes before the meeting, and you can sign up and express yourselves and share. We won't go back and forth with you, but you have to put your name and address and information down, and someone will follow up. Or if you just want to come and vent, that's your time.
Right.
Okay, I got a concern in my neighborhood. Uh,
Now,
I'm
hold on.
losing in my home with here.
Listen to me. Hold on. Now. You asked me when you come, but then you still want to
Okay,
share.
so I come down the address down there then.
No, you
I've
can
been
go
trying to
ahead.
call you,
Uh,
Commissioner Till, but
what's
I can't never
the
get.
general? What's the area? What is it concerning? Can you just?
We might can solve it right now.
Does it have to do with
Commissioner
water,
Lucan, Commissioner
trash?
Tillman,
Yes, sir.
excuse,
You listen to
excuse
yourself.
me, Commissioner Tillman,
Turn your radio down.
Uh,
You get the delay.
yeah,
Commissioner Tillman,
echo.
Go ahead, sir. We listening.
We're listening,
Commissioner
Minister.
Tillman. I've been trying to call you, but I left a voicemail, whatever. I'd have one of your cards, but I haven't been able to get it. Well, I need to talk to you.
Okay, Minister. What is the general area of concern that you were calling about? Is it
The general
water?
area that I'm concerned about is a ditch in the back of my home.
Okay. Now I would suggest you call customer service and report that so that the person who's taking your call will go ahead and route that information over to the appropriate department. But now, if you want to come to the meeting, that is fine. But there is a customer service number that's 751
7-4.
7400. And that is a number that you can go ahead and call now and speak to someone and give them your information and request that is put in a service request and possibly get them to work on it right away.
Commissioner Lucas, I went through. I done been through all the channels. I done did that, and I keep telling me. They even made me angry last week when they told me the daycare belongs to nobody. So what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna come down the address. I'm not gonna address the
that,
airways
that is
or
fine.
whatever. But I'm coming to the meeting. If we're gonna address it, we're gonna get to the bottom of this.
Okay, that's the people's house. It is your house. You pay for city hall, the maintenance of it and upkeep of it, and you are perfectly within your rights to come at any time. And if you feel like you haven't gotten the answers you want, then sometimes you feel like that's the only recourse. So we will look forward to seeing you there. We want to say hello to Sherry Shannon Miller and all the others who are on with us on Ask Elaine. But Minister, we appreciate your call. We appreciate your service to the community. And if you'll go ahead and do that service request call, but then also feel free to come to the meeting and express your concern.
Okay, well, I'm supposed to do. So I don't know nothing else to do. So probably been down there one day. It might not be that. I just want to know who it belongs to. Now, if I find that out, I'd be happy. That's all I'm trying to find out because it's not mine. They claimed it for about 10 years, and all of a sudden it became my ditch. So down there.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Yeah, there's a possibility that it could be, and that government got an easement for water to drain through there. Excuse me. So, anyway, we'll get to the bottom of it. We look forward to seeing you at the next meeting. Thank you for calling us, Minister. Okay, we want to welcome, as I said, Sherry Shannon Miller to Ask Elaine. And we want to thank our volunteers in the offices of EL High School Academy. We have graduation on Saturday at Stewart Chapel at 5 p.m. And you're more than welcome to be with us and to express your congratulations to the new high school graduates. Our special guest today is none other than Commissioner Al Tillman, and we want to thank him for making the time to come to the program. We've been talking about the terrible, terrible turnout of
Yeah.
voters, around 10% or less of voters who turned out to vote in the
Right.
runoff
Commissioner,
election.
Commissioner, I
Go
want to go
ahead.
back to Desmond Brown and Gary
Okay.
Beckler's race.
Okay.
I think what our community has to start realize is that we're just not perfect. There are no perfect
Nobody's
candidates.
perfect.
And
Yeah.
a lot of times on the other side, people look and try to present us as imperfect and therefore will tell you why you should not support us. Because there, and we all are aware, some stuff that happened with Desmond over 10 years ago that came back out because, in my opinion, folks were afraid that he was going to run for chairman and so
Hmm.
forth because Sam Hart was in that position. But also, we just got to get people ready and prepared.
That's right.
Former Commissioner Hart, you know, I think sometimes we should expect for us to get together and say, "Hey, I'm not going to run," or what have you, so you can be ready and prepared and get the best candidate out there that you
Right.
want to have out there.
Right.
But when our folks show up, we got to just realize that they are there to serve, and they're not always a perfect candidate,
Right.
but they will always have our best needs in mind. And so I think that's what we just got to start trying to remember and realize when we're
Right.
looking for a perfect candidate.
Right. And there's no such thing. And I say if somebody like Donald Trump can serve, then that's a pretty low
Yeah, I was listening on the way in
ceiling
here
there.
at the radio station, and people they were talking on CNN even about it, that between he and DeSantis in Florida would probably be a candidate, and the possibility of all the stuff that we know now, that they're still saying possibility that this
Yeah,
man
that he could
could continue
run
to
and
run,
win again.
and in our culture, in our community, that would not be possible because that's why I'm going back to a Desmond Brown
Right.
or other former candidates that we sometimes get caught up in the hype in the media that we have to be perfect. Where this man has shown all of us and Donald Trump that he pretended to be perfect,
Hmm.
but some of the stuff he said about your daughters and folks in general, and to start a almost race riot
Right.
in this community, all communities all over the United States, that we would even consider nominating him again, and Republicans are too afraid to stand up. And in these hearings, you're seeing that they said one thing behind the scene and talking with him and
Right.
others,
Right.
and then when they get in front of the public, they're just totally supportive of them. And
Yeah.
that's what I just want to bring out to the public when we're dealing with our community.
Yeah. We want to welcome May Barry to the program. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Um, Call us if you have a comment that you'd like to make on air, 478-250-1444. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're always happy to have you there. And we want this to be your information station, your information program. Um, We have Commissioner Al Tillman with us today, and he's sharing with us his thoughts on the election. And we've talked about what a low, low turnout. It's just a pitiful turnout. And that's when people have decided that that's when they're going to put important issues on the ballot.
Yeah,
At
absolutely.
those times when their statistics show
Yeah,
that we will not turn out and vote. It's too hot. I don't know anything about that. I've got something else to do.
yeah, yeah.
That's my
Well,
vacation
yeah,
time. That's
yeah.
this, that, and the other. We do everything
Mhm.
that we want to do.
Yeah, we got to start at the kitchen table, and encouraging our young men and women. We got to put it in their mind and their thoughts that those are important things to do. Once you become 17 and a half years of age, you can register, and then at 17 and a half years of age, because we want you to be ready on day one once you turn 18, if there's an election, to go ahead and vote. And we
Right.
just got to start having those conversations around the dinner table. Those are important factors about voting, establishing your credit, and a number of things that we're just not having conversations about. Gun violence, and it's just amazing that you, Commissioner, that so many of our folks are not afraid of a gun, but they're afraid of a fish.
Yeah.
If you put
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
a live or dead fish on the
Or
table,
bait,
and a
the
gun,
worm.
or the
Uh
worm.
huh. Uh huh.
And so our culture, and it has changed tremendously, how we deal with young people, and younger generation. They're dying before they turn
Yeah.
age 25
Yeah. Yeah.
at a rapid number.
Yeah. Before I forget it, I want to stop and express our deepest sympathy to Baldwin County Commissioner Emily C. Davis and her
Mhm.
family in the loss of their mother. And not only did she lose her mother, who was a former county commission, and before that, her dad, the late Oscar Davis Sr., was a county commissioner. We want to express our condolences to that
Yes.
family, but we want to express condolences to that same family that lost a an aunt of hers a few weeks ago, prior to her mom
Mm.
passing away. The services were held this morning in Milledgeville. And so we just want to let Emily know she has been a guest on Ask Elaine. She is very, very involved in the community, cares about people, works extremely hard. And her mother fought a good
Mm.
fight. She had
Yeah,
been
we're
dealing with
blessed to be here,
illness.
Commissioner.
Yeah,
Every day we're just blessed to
yeah,
be here. We've lost so many folks just from age to health issues to COVID, to gun violence. So you just ask yourself, why are you still here? And why are you here? You just got to do something good.
yeah, yeah. There's a
Why,
reason.
why are we sitting around complaining, waiting for somebody to do something for you? You just got to come on and do it for yourself. And let me
That's
commend
right.
you on your schooling, and what you continue to do, and to help so many folks. What's interesting, when I look on social media, I'm seeing more folks over 50 years of age coming out of your school, which is amazing, that
Yeah,
folks just have it in their mind that, I'm going to go and do this for myself, my
yeah,
mother, my kids, or whatever.
yeah.
And they're going back to get that education, and that's what we have to continue to do every day. You have to wake up and educate yourself, and we appreciate you for continuing to do that.
Well, thank you. We appreciate the support of the community. On Saturday at the graduation ceremony, uh, District Attorney Anita Reynolds Howard is going to bring words of encouragement. She will be there. So that's one of the
And
special
she's everywhere
guests who
also.
she is all over. We were at Juneteenth
Yeah.
last Saturday. Uh, DA Howard had a table at a Fort Valley event that
Mhm.
morning.
Mhm.
Then she was in Tatnall
Mhm.
Square Park at that
Yeah.
event, and she and her staff left to go to
Right.
another event. So she is indeed
And
the
speak yeah.
people's DA.
And speaking of her, having a DA like the first African American woman, you and I were together. I think we were only commissioners there at her on June 9th. That's the day she got elected. It's a justice for something.
Yeah.
It was a great
Yeah.
event. And what she is doing to share, we never received that
Never.
information,
Never.
the numbers. She's sharing how they're prosecuting folks, what they're going through. Y'all don't understand how important it is to get this information from folks that look like you
Hmm.
and care about your community the same way. Because the culture there has totally changed from just wanting to prosecute all these so-called gang boys and throw away the key and not give them a second chance to understanding. Before she was elected, and I can say this, I was not supporting her because relationships matter, and we built relationships with David Cook. But I remember her. I was going to her about some gang boys that was calling me on the phone, and I was like, Anita, I don't talk to them. Whatever. And she said, Al, you can talk to them. Take their call. They have not been convicted.
Hmm.
Because I was even hesitant about talking to them, thinking that, I'm going to be called to court or something. And she says, no. And so that culture was beginning to change even before. Now, she's going to do her job,
Right.
but
She
you're
is
going to
gonna
be
do her job.
informed and
Yeah.
you're going to know what's happening. And that's why what I'm saying about the importance when you say, oh, my vote doesn't count. It counts. it,
Yes,
it,
it
it counts,
does.
folks. Because when you elect folks that represent some of your values, and like I say, relationships matter, and we go out here and we build relationships, and here come some new folks and say, well, we need you to get on board with us. And commission, you know how that can be tough,
Yeah.
because we built all these relationships over the years, and then here come a new jack that hadn't studied the community and just says, well, I'm gonna show up, I'm ready.
Right.
Are you really ready? And so we have to get them ready as well. And so
Right.
just want to share that.
Prior service, volunteer work, all of that factors in to my decision as to whether somebody is really, really committed to the community. And if you jump up and you say you want to run for office, then I'm going to go back and look and see what you've done
Mhm.
prior to saying that you want to run for office before I can even think about supporting you. So, y'all think about that you've got to show your intentions, your good intentions, show your work, and then your work will speak for you. So that's what we would encourage you to do. And it's time for people to start. If they're gonna try and run for office, it's time to start building those relationships in the
Hmm.
community.
Absolutely.
There are a number of us that are term
Right.
limited, and
Right.
there will be some positions that will be available.
Yeah.
But don't think that you're going to just step out there and run, and that we're going to support you and you haven't done anything
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
That's
It's
just
about
not going to work.
relationships and learning to understanding the budget and pension, because it's been tough, even for me, for going on 8 9 years. Yesterday we passed a budget, the highest
Right.
one since I've been elected, at
It was
109.
$198 million
Yeah,
is the
unheard of.
total of
And so,
the budget.
and without a lot of detailed information that we were accustomed to, because we trusted a District 5 commissioner in Seth Clark.
Hmm.
And, I can say that, Commissioner, publicly, because I've said it to him,
Right.
that we have 9 commissioners, and it was 5 African American districts. And, over the years, there have been some decent white Democrats that have come in and did the work. Ed D4 has been around, but a lot of them will come in office and they befriend our community and us for years. And I think then when they get there, there's always this disconnect of sometimes the white community wanting to call them up and say, hey, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't try to help the poor. Let them help themselves and all this. And the federal money that's coming down from the Congress and from the president is geared toward helping those minority
That,
businesses and
yeah.
so forth.
Yeah.
And these folks sit around and they say, well, let them fend for themselves. I mean, and that's not right, and that's not what's supposed to happen. But for us, because we can't have committees, and it's solely to me, I put it on Seth. As a white male Democrat, I totally put it on him that he has not agreed with us on anything, but he ran around with us in our community, and we supported him, and he has totally changed the mindset of us, for me, trusting
Right. Well,
folks like that.
not only did we move a black elected official out of the second spot, the mayor pro tem, but committees were abolished. There's
Yeah,
only one committee of the commission. It's a committee of the whole. That committee is chaired by the mayor. The
yeah,
majority of the items that go on the agenda emanate within the mayor's office. There was a discussion um, just on yesterday that we had about
right,
some issues.
right,
And I made the point that we don't have the committees to
right,
thoroughly discuss things like we used to. So that leaves the
right.
remaining commissioners out in the
Right.
cold
And people
until
are and
somebody.
people will say, "Well, can't y'all just get 5 votes?" Yeah, we can
Uh-huh.
get 5 votes on what somebody else wanna do,
Right,
but
right.
not what we
Not
are accustomed to
right,
doing. And listen, and we're not
right.
trying to give away the kitchen sink. It's just that we want to make sure that the grass is cut on Mount Pier. We want to make sure the grass is cut in Unionville. We want to make sure the trash and the roads and things are done. We want to make sure things are funded like they've been before. Indigent care. A lot of you all don't have health insurance, and you go to Navicent, and we giving them $0. When we first got there, we were giving them
Yeah,
$480,000, and
yeah.
now we're giving them $0 because somebody says, "Oh, they're a $1 million corporation." Well, you don't think about that. When you go to the doctor, you want to be seen. Just
Right,
like when you call
right,
law enforcement or an ambulance, you want the service.
right,
And
right.
so these are things that's happening that, y'all can say, well, y'all been around and building relationship. We have, but I'm saying that there are 5 Democratic seats, and not to play and say it should be Democrats versus Republicans, but in a nonpartisan situation, people use it to their advantage when they want to, and that is what's happened. And I've been guilty of it in trying to go along to get along, and it has not always worked out. But that's why I can sit here today and say that we need, in the next couple of years, I won't be there, Commissioner Lucas won't be there, but think about this now. Valerie Wynn, who's a commissioner and should have the experience, will be the highest ranking elected official on the
Yeah,
commission,
longest
that
serving.
that has said to us on many of occasions that we should get volunteers and sell baked goods to
For
help
organizations that
to help folks.
serve low and
And,
moderate
and,
income folks.
right. Not
But
understanding politics,
yeah,
and that's what
yeah,
I'm saying for her. And so maybe she still has time to learn. And these are public record things. I'm not just talking and saying this because I'm here. These are things that's public, that's been said. But I'm saying that's going to be our highest ranking official. So you guys out there listening, get ready.
yeah,
We need you to be
yeah,
ready.
yeah. You've got to be ready. We want to say good afternoon to Overseer Mabel Randall. We're glad to have you there, as well as all the other folks who have joined us on Facebook Live. And we want to thank all those who have joined us on AM or FM or otherwise. So thank you so much. Today, Commissioner, Home First, which is an agency
Reggie
that
Bell still over
operate.
there?
Reggie Bell is
Yeah.
still Reggie. They celebrated their 20th year of
Okay.
operation. This is an agency that operates within Macon Bibbs government. It was put in place 20 years ago because of the disadvantages that mostly Black folks had in home ownership,
Buying a home.
and because so many people have been tricked with these schemes and scams and were being put out of their homes.
Right.
And so Home First came to be. It was mandated to begin with, and now over the years we have continued to support their activities. They Today there was a celebration of their 20th anniversary of National Homeowners Month. That's what
Okay.
this is,
Okay.
June.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. So if you're looking to be a homeowner, you
yeah,
need to reach out to
yeah,
Home First.
yeah. You can
Yeah.
check in with Home First, and they will provide information that may help you toward becoming a homeowner. And it was really, really great to pay tribute to Reggie Bell, who has been the director for these 20 years,
How
and
about
to
that?
see a number of the agencies and partners that work in the community to help. Home ownership is one of the most important things that we can support in this community.
Mhm.
If somebody owns something, then you have an opportunity
Yeah.
to pass along
That's
to
right.
future generations some assets,
And you'll take
some
care of it. I think
wealth.
you'll take care of it
Right. If
better.
you own your home, more than likely you're going to take care of it.
Yeah. So there are things in place, is what you're sharing.
Right,
That yeah,
right.
if you want to be
There
a
are.
homeowner.
There are.
Yeah.
So, Home First is the agency, and they are just a wonderful agency, and we salute the employees, the director, and the employees, and the board of Home First in their 20th year
Wow.
anniversary.
Yeah.
Chester Wheeler, who
Yeah.
used to be the director of economic and community development, was
Okay.
at this
Was he? How
particular
about that?
event,
Yeah.
and he was recognized for
Okay.
being
Yeah.
willing to
And
consider
Reggie's such
funding.
a nice guy
He is.
and really
He is.
sincere about helping you get a home.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right. Cherry Blossom Luncheon. There will be a Cherry Blossom Festival luncheon at Central Georgia Tech tomorrow at 12 noon for those folks who volunteered or who were a part of the Cherry Blossom event. Commissioner, there are 6 East Macon churches that have partnered to change the mindset. They've partnered with the
Okay.
Bibb Coroner's Office, Bibb County Sheriff's Office to stop the killing.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is called the Macon Walk Away Initiative.
Make him walk away initiative.
And
I like
the
that.
pastors are Pastor Richard Robinson of New Pleasant Grove, Reverend David Stanley of Union Baptist, Elder Alfonso Austin Jr. of Bread of Life Ministries, Pastor Derek Dumas of Greater Lisboro, Pastor Willie Finney Sr. of St. Peter Baptist Church, and Reverend Dr. Kevin Moore of St. Paul AME Church.
That's a powerful group there.
July 16th, 2022, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. There will be free school supplies and lunch following the event. There will be featured speakers, Bibb Coroner Leon Jones. There will be survivor testimony, and then the East Macon pastors. This will take place at New Pleasant Grove Baptist Church. So if you have your calendar handy, go ahead and circle July the 16th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And let's get involved with these 6 East Macon churches who are partnering to stop the killing,
Oh yeah.
to change the mindset to stop the killing. What are your ideas about some of the programs that have been funded to appeal to young people to not hurt each other? What are
Well,
your ideas? What
well,
will work? What won't?
yeah.
What do we
Well,
need to do?
well, well. Let me share this. Earlier this year, I sat down with the mayor, and I came close. I usually never give anybody the blueprint, but I was so upset and so mad because of what was happening. Because what I saw is that we were giving all these folks money, and I had told him, I was like, man, listen, we could take $200,000. I said, me and you and Virgil, and I come close to give y'all the blueprint of what happened in 2010 and 2011. If people go back, there were less than 15 murders where we got together and we call it Rhyme Against Crime, and we partner with the sheriff. You got to have the sheriff buy in, you got to have the community buy in, and then most importantly, you got to have the gang members on board.
Mhm.
And most of the time, everybody's afraid to go and talk to the gang boys because they're just afraid of them. And so the blueprint, closest I can give it to you, is once you bring all those folks to the table And I remember bringing them to Warren Selby's office, and we sat around a table, and we had a couple of gang guys in there, and began to change. First of all, community leaders' mindset that it was not illegal to be in a gang,
Mhm.
and that's
Right.
most of the guys' issue. They won't admit that they're in a gang. Once you understand that you're not illegal to be in a gang, but committing a crime, and then
Right.
you can share. And once you sit them down and have a conversation, you'll discover that they'll say, "Man, I'm just trying to raise my child. I
Mhm.
want a job. I got something on my record. I can't get a job. I grew up in this neighborhood because my mama moved here, my grandmama, or what have you."
Mhm.
And so the mindset is you've got to get those guys from the neighborhood and sometimes a celebrity figure to say, put down the guns. You almost never hear rappers say, stop gun violence and put down the gun. They're usually rapping about it
Mhm.
and it's saying this is their lifestyle. And a lot of people don't realize that it's really not their lifestyle. They're trying to make money. A lot of these guys that's rapping are geniuses. They've gone to school, have college degrees, and so forth, but they are feeding on your young boys and girls. And so once you begin to have the gang boys themselves at the table saying, okay, yeah, man, we do need to stop this killing.
Mhm.
And you have the celebrity figures of these rappers saying, you need to stop this killing, it becomes what we call cool. It's just like the straight A student that don't want everybody to know they're a straight A
Yeah.
student because they
Yeah.
shy, don't want to seem like a nerd. Well, you can say it's cool to be a straight A student. It's cool to say stop and put down the guns. This past Sunday, we went over to Unionville, and I told the sheriff, I told the mayor, I told a few other folks, I said, I'm going, y'all pray for me, because I'm going in the heart of where it's all at. And I was live. So if something happened to me, y'all can see it. I was live the whole time on social media. And what was amazing when I came back and I left, those guys were hitting me up saying, thank you for coming, man. And they asked me to bring law enforcement because they
Mhm.
said they encouraged all the young guys to leave the guns home. But my daughter, when she saw the video, commissioner, asked me, she said, Dad, how do you do that? And how are you not afraid to do that? Those guys that's growing up in those neighborhoods, we grew up in those neighborhoods. They're their younger brothers and nephews, and they're just like us. They are just portraying an image and trying not to act afraid. And that's why they're carrying a gun because they are afraid.
Mhm.
When they go to jail and get locked up, they're going to get beat up because they can't fight because they
Yeah.
always did shooting.
Mhm.
What they're going to discover is when they go to a prison, all the Macon boys going to have to stick together. All the Atlanta boys going to have to stick together. All the Columbus and Savannah boys. And now all the guys in Macon that you were fighting against,
You gotta
now you got
get
to
with
partner
them.
with them.
Mhm.
And so what I was sharing with the mayor is that's some of the stuff that we could do. And one of the major things that I gave him and Anita Reynolds Howard that they both like, that I'm gonna say it publicly because I always say it behind the scene is, and most folks won't like this now. When those guys have been convicted of 20 and 30 years, there's a sign out there that the U.S. Attorney's Office used for years, and you've seen this, Commission. It says 7 years for gun crime. What I propose is to take down that 7 year for gun crime and start putting up Lil Pookie just received 20 years.
Mhm.
Lil Ray Ray just received 30 years. And so when you physically see him or her on a billboard and saying, oh my God, they got 30 years, and you about to go and commit a crime, you're going to say, hey man, take me back to my mama
Mhm.
house. Because what's happening is those guys are committing murders and they're going to trial 2 and 3 years from now. Well, the little 12-year-old has now became 14 and 15. So we're taking 3 years for them to see the actions of that 17-year-old that shot somebody because the trial is taking so long.
Yeah.
And then when you go back and you see it every now and then on the news, it becomes an issue. So I think we ought to publicize it on the billboards and let it be an impact of what's happening right now that, man, you're going to have to spend the rest of your life in a 6x6 bathroom. Can you go to your house right now for 24 hours and just sit in your bathroom?
Mhm.
If you can't, then you don't need to be trying to shoot and kill anybody
Mhm.
because that's basically what a cell is, the size of
Yeah.
your bathroom. And can you stay in your bathroom for 24 hours, but yet you can sit there for 20 years? So,
Well, I think you're right. And I think we're going to have people who are not afraid to, who understand what's going on, who are willing to go and talk with folks, and that is one of the ways that we're going to prevent some things from
Mhm.
happening. It is impossible to know when somebody's going to have an argument,
Mhm.
when there's a
Yeah.
beef between this
Well,
community, this side of town, and that side of town. You don't know when that's going to happen. So if we did, we would be there to try and prevent
yeah.
folks from killing
But we
each
just
other.
can't give money
You
to
don't know.
somebody that just supported
Right.
you, and that's one of the mayor's issue is that he has, in my opinion, been giving money and funding to folks that supported him. You know, and he knows this. I've never seen somebody that takes so long to get over an election because I didn't
Yeah.
support him.
You'll drive yourself
And
crazy.
it bothers me.
Hmm.
And Virgil and I talk about this all the time. I just hate the fact that as politicians, we do choose sides sometimes. But in a situation like this where we can be valuable, Virgil and yourself have so many great ideas and things that you want to do, but it's overlooked because you are not supportive. When
And that
yeah,
should not
yeah,
be.
yeah,
We want to say good afternoon to Maria Bryant with the NAACP, who is always with us. Maria, if you have some comments about that horrible, horrible voter turnout, if you'll give us a call, we'd love to hear. And any of the others who are
yeah,
listening or watching, if you have comments about the election or about any of the
yeah,
other
yeah,
things that we're talking about, we're hoping that we're touching on some things that will spark your
yeah,
greater involvement, and you understand that all of this stuff,
yeah.
a lot of it hinges on who we have in
Right.
office, who's making the decisions, who's making the decisions about where money goes, what programs are supported, funded. All of those kinds of things hinge on your vote.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yesterday, when the dust settled, less than 10% of the folks who are registered to vote, the 105,000 people who are registered, around 10% or less actually
Yeah.
voted.
Well,
So,
some of the good news, Commissioner, is we're going to be going out into the community on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We're going to be asking EL High School to come out and sign folks up and register them. We're going to ask the Public Defender's Office to come out and offer criminal expungement. And for whatever reason, when we say that, the lines are much longer.
mhm,
We've got to draw our folks out and then give them a message and a solution
right.
that's better than guns. And that's to continue to educate them. Every day you can wake up, you can be educated. And so those are some of the things with some of the funding that we're going to be able to do. There's a lot of folks out here that's received funding, and I can be critical all day. I don't have the solution, but out of the 25 I've seen, maybe two or three that's gonna do some good work. But you gotta be able to go into the neighborhood, and I ain't talking about 3 and 4 and 5 year old kids that we serving. I'm talking about some adult young men
Yeah,
that we
yeah,
just can't leave hanging
yeah.
anymore.
And you can't just apply for a program and then think that you can just spend the money.
That's right.
You've got people are going to be looking for results.
Yeah.
And so if you don't show those results, then there are just some
Yeah.
consequences
So,
for
Commissioner, we know you from Bellevue, so you don't
from
mind going in the
Bellevue.
line den with us.
I don't have a
We go in the
problem at
line den.
all. I
Yeah.
go wherever I
Yeah.
want to go.
Well, starting in July now. Tuesdays we're gonna be in South Macon. Thursdays we're gonna be in Bellevue. We've got the mobile truck, the DJing, Rhyme Against Crime. EL Lucas, we're gonna sign you. Even if you're not there, we're gonna have a sign up sheet for it. Expungement, and so we coming looking, hoping for a solution, and ask you to put down the guns. And we're gonna video you. We want a message from you, and
Hmm.
we coming without. I already told Sheriff we don't need them. We coming without the police. We coming without the news media, and
Hmm.
it's just us and y'all.
Right,
So what you gonna do?
right, right. All right. What you gonna do? That's a good question. What you gonna do? Maria, give us a call. Let us know your thoughts on the election and the horrible turnout. What can we do? you've been sitting in front of your TV. I hope you have been watching CNN or some other news outlet, and you've seen the case laid out as to what the former president tried to do and almost succeeded. This man, Donald Trump, almost succeeded in overthrowing the government of the United States.
Mm. Never happened
And
before.
folks like him and folks like Herschel Walker, folks like that believe in what he did.
Did you
I
hear
haven't
this?
heard him say a
Uh,
word
did you hear
against it.
Herschel Walker? Now we love Herschel Walker
No, we don't.
with some
No,
football
no. Well,
from Georgia back in the day, back in the
yeah,
'80s. But this
yeah.
man actually said you can come in his house and before you leave out, he got some kind of spray or something, and you'll be free
Oh,
of every
yeah,
disease and COVID
yeah,
and everything.
yeah. Now, how
Eh,
does that sound? Does that sound like somebody who ought to be
no,
sitting
no,
up as a senator?
that is who's being supported by Republicans.
Right.
And what I'm saying is, it doesn't matter what they do if they got an R by their name, what they say, how they act. Their folks are supporting them. But we are mostly in the majority with the numbers and everything, and we're
But we
waiting.
will not go.
Yeah,
We will not
I
go.
think we need the housing
Books in
authority.
the ballot.
Yeah, books in the ballot.
Books in the
Maybe
ballot.
the housing authority because they have a lot of folks. And maybe we can get them on board to say we need to see your voter registration card. Because a lot of people will pretend they voted, and then I'll challenge them sometimes. I don't want to embarrass them. I say, "Well, where'd you vote at?" And they stuck right there. Where'd you
Well,
vote?
it shouldn't be that hard.
It's
It
not.
shouldn't. You shouldn't have to
Voting
do
is the
that.
easiest thing to
It's
do.
important. But I understand why people are reluctant sometimes because they feel like no matter how hard they work, no matter how hard they try, unless they're well connected and have a lot of money, it doesn't seem like that their voice is heard.
Oh.
And then we have situations where, there are people who get in office and they don't do what they promise, and so a lot of people are just disenchanted
If
with the
people pay
whole
attention to
process.
us and the commission, they will see. And I would just ask this question of some of those folks on social media. If you're an African American on social media and you're commenting about something that happened at City Hall, you need to be more specific.
Yeah,
Because if your page is full of African American, you say, "Did you see what the commission did?" Only people they thinking about is Al,
yeah,
Luke,
yeah,
Brunson, and Watkins.
yeah.
And we're the innocent ones. But
Right.
because your page is full of African American, they're
Yeah,
making an assumption. Oh, we need to get rid of them. You got
yeah,
to be specific and say
yeah,
what Valerie and Mallory did.
yeah,
You
yeah.
got to be
I
specific.
think we have a phone call. Caller, welcome to
Yes,
Ask
Commissioner Lucas, Commissioner Tillman. This is Larry C. Dunning Jr.
Pastor Dunning. How are
Pastor
you?
Dunn.
I'm doing great. Y'all doing a great work. Keep up the good work. I
Thank you
I
for
believe we're just
calling, and we want to express our condolences to you. We heard that there was a death in your family. Was it
yes,
in
my
your?
wife's father,
We are
Bishop McDaniel.
Sorry
we're
to hear that.
so very
Yeah,
sorry, but we're
yeah.
glad to
Yeah,
have you
he
back.
was
Pastor Dunn, I
he
don't
was
know if
laid to rest, and the family is recovering well. I just wanted to highlight the great job you both are doing. I don't know. My wife and I voted yesterday. It's
Hmm.
called apathy. People
Yeah,
don't connect emotionally, politically, or personally unless they feel that that's something that they need to vote for. It's not like the 60s where we were trying to get in. Now we're in and we won't even vote.
and
Some
we
kind
won't
of way
want to
through
stay.
our church, we know, and through the community to try to get people to get excited about their future. We can complain well, but we don't vote well.
yeah.
Well, people don't realize though, we're just so close to being put back in slavery. During slavery,
That's right.
people had no rights, they were property, and we're close to that. Again, there are people that think of you as property, not worthy, not equal to them. You're just something to mistreat or handle in whatever way. And then we allow it to happen because we won't do what we can do, and let's get our education and vote. And so yesterday was having around 10% of the voters to
Hmm.
actually vote. said that, oh, they don't care. We can put anything on the ballot, but we'll put it on that time when it's hot or when they're complaining or when they're
That's
not
right.
even paying any attention to it. And we can get our way. We can elect as many Republicans and put as many wrong issues in place as we possibly can because they're not going to go vote.
Yeah, yeah. We
So,
have a history of not unless there's a national election that they really feel passionate about, the runoff election just suffer with numbers. But we just got
right.
to keep doing what you're doing, and I got to keep doing what I'm doing, and hopefully we can make a difference. But right now, it's apathy, big time.
Appreciate
Well,
you. Thank you, sir.
apathy is not a good thing.
It's
It's
not a
not
good thing.
a thing. Uh,
Yeah.
uh, Maria Bryant says the turnout was horrible, and I agree
Wow. I
with you.
believe it. I
Those
believe it.
were on the turnout was what around 10%
Pastor
or
Donnie, I
less.
want to share something with you. You told me something that I repeat to my son and family all the time. I called you one
Hmm.
time and I was like, man, how can I get rid of these lizards? And you asked me, said, where they at? I said, they outside. And he said, well, that's where they live.
Don't go outside.
He said, that's where they live. That's where they supposed to be outside. And so I always say that now. People be like, oh man, we got to get rid of these lizards. We got to get rid of. I said, but that's where they live.
I just stay
He
in.
said,
Commissioner,
I was like, I
Commissioner,
told
they
you.
were here before we were here. We
Yes,
can't kill them all.
yeah, yeah. Just
Yeah.
stay
I
away
said, well, I
from
said,
them.
Pastor, how we get rid of these lizards? He said, they're outside. That's where they
Yeah,
live.
yeah.
Listen, I want to say, and I know time is running out. I had a house in Fort Valley, had a big kudzu patch in front of it. This
Uh,
is no joke. I kill one snake every single day. And after
uh,
a while, Commissioner Tillman, I said, I can't kill them all.
That's right. That's
That's where
oh,
they live.
left them alone. Did you finally get the kazoo down?
right.
So what now?
Did you get the kazoo down? Because that's what they were coming for.
Oh
For
no, you can't. It was a big field of kudzu. That's
oh,
where they live.
yeah,
I
yeah,
can't kill
yeah,
them.
yeah. That's
Uh,
true.
uh,
That's true. Oh my goodness!
Uh,
Thank you so much, Pastor. You always
yeah,
light the day, and
I
you
know,
all
but
give us some.
I think y'all are doing a great service. Keep preaching. I keep preaching on my end, and
Yeah.
hopefully we'll make a difference in the end.
Thank you, and we still are inviting you on as a co-host. We just
Anytime. But listen, you got Al Tillman down there. He talk about as much as I do. So y'all.
well,
All right.
thank.
Y'all have a good day and keep up the good work.
all right. Be
All right,
blessed, sir.
thank you. He's one of the ones that was done wrong by Macon Bibb County, by the city of Macon, the former mayor, and shoot, he took us to court, and he won.
Yeah. Yeah.
He
It's a lot of
won.
them
I
out
don't
there.
know how many bags he
Yeah.
walked away
A lot of good folks
walked
out there.
away with, but it wasn't enough. And
Yeah.
it's always nice to be in the room,
The culture has definitely
so
changed.
you know
Yeah.
what actually happened.
The
He
culture has
beat us
definitely
because we
changed
were
in Macon
wrong.
Bibb County.
It has changed. It has changed. We just appreciate all of you for tuning in.
Thank you for
We
having me.
appreciate Commissioner Al Tillman, who gave up an hour of his busy schedule to come. Understand that some of the commissioners are going to Savannah for a
Right.
conference
The GMA.
of training
Yeah.
to learn how to do this job
Think
possibly.
about you and
So,
I. We always
yeah, we
going.
go to training
That's right.
and we go to the classes.
Right. You have to
Unlike
learn.
some folks don't go, they just go. But anyway, so that's the music. Thank you so very much for tuning in. And we welcome you. Thanks, Amzi, for tuning in. And we appreciate the fact that you say it's great information. Ms. Goff, thank you for saying that this was an informative show. And we appreciate all of you for listening in. Let us know if there are shows that you want us to spotlight, items that you want us to talk about, people that you'd like to hear from or see on Ask Elaine. We are your talk and information station, and we thank you for being here every Wednesday. We will see you again next Wednesday, Commissioner, for another edition of Ask Elaine. Y'all
Be blessed.
stay cool.
Connecting